Bitcoin bounces, creating a pullback that we've been waiting for on this YouTube channel, setting up a potential bull move for Bitcoin. Not yet confirmed. Do the Bitcoin bulls have what it takes to make it happen? What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit that like, hit that subscribe on the way in. It means a lot to me. I'm on vacation, 9/12, doing a video as Bitcoin tests a really key area on the Bitcoin charts. Hit that like, everybody, on the way in. Let's go bulls. I mean, I know what the long-term charts say, but if the bulls can pull this off, it would be incredible. So let's talk about this move for Bitcoin. Let's start from a clip from yesterday's video. If Bitcoin breaks the lower trend line, a pullback to that trend line. Now, those happen often. And if we actually look at the pattern site, so I'm going to go to the website that I was just showing. What we were talking about was right here, pullback rate, 65% pullback rate. The reason I'm showing this content over again is so that you have all context of what we've been tracking on this YouTube channel in case you didn't see that video. And also just because it's crazy to me how the data on these patterns is so consistent over and over again. If you've been watching these videos, they just play out really well. 65% pullback rate out of these symmetrical triangles. And so the move happened. Bitcoin's pulling back. Now, that's not a confirmation of anything bullish for Bitcoin. That's just very commonplace for these symmetrical triangles. The key is now what happens at this trend line, because this would be a conservative area to short Bitcoin if Bitcoin sees resistance here, right? Meaning we got the break out of the trend line, we get pulled back up, and then we get rejection here. Bitcoin comes back down. People will be shorting Bitcoin, I am sure. Now, to the flip side, if Bitcoin breaks above this trend line, people will be longing Bitcoin, I am sure. But even if Bitcoin can start testing this trend line a little bit more than it is right now, I don't think Bitcoin is that out of the woods just yet. I tweeted a little bit earlier. I said, when watching your favorite crypto, be careful of lower highs. Many altcoins have recovered quickly but have not yet broken a potential new downtrend. The ETH chart is a good illustration, and I just showed a picture of the Ethereum chart. But even looking at the Bitcoin chart, yeah, Bitcoin got a bounce, right? That's great. But right now, we're just simply putting in a lower high. Nothing really truly bullish has happened yet. Now, it definitely gives good vibes when you see Bitcoin bouncing, plus your 10% plus. Here's 13% bounce on Bitcoin. But we are not out of the woods, as I mentioned. A key area I'm watching is really that last swing high on the Fibonacci, or on this symmetrical triangle, to this current swing low. We're tracking a Fibonacci resistance area. Now that is right around 37,700, as you see there. That's the 786 line, down to 35,900 or so. That's the 618 line. That is the area. If Bitcoin can break the trend line, that's good, but that doesn't confirm bullishness as much as this Fibonacci resistance. And on the screen right there is literally the two resistance prices that you can pretty much watch for on Bitcoin. Can Bitcoin make a move back up to that area? That's the question, right? So from where it is right now, it's around a 10 to 15% move. That's nothing in the world of Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's going to see this short-term continuation in a bullish manner, Bitcoin can very much test this and break it. And if it does, then we have what we've been tracking potentially besides just the pullback. The pullback is the stepping stone to the bullish move. The bullish move is the busted symmetrical triangle. And that's exactly what we were talking about in yesterday's video, as Bitcoin was getting kind of overextended here from this lower trend line. We were talking about Bitcoin was around 15% down from this trend line. And we basically said Bitcoin needs to bounce like right here in order for a busted symmetrical triangle to even be in play. And it did bounce, and it's still in play. And it's pretty cool to track this on Bitcoin. Now, the busted symmetrical triangle, you can read about it. I'll post a link to this, thepatternSite.com. I've been just referencing this website a lot. I use a lot of my technical analysis from this website. Really cool data. I tweak it a little bit because Bitcoin's in a little bit more a volatile environment than I think what Bulkowski was trading in. However, really reliable, and you can just see how many times are we referencing these moves that we talked about and just seeing how they've played out, this pullback being one of them. So we're getting the pullback. Now in the hours ahead, we watch, is Bitcoin getting rejected? You can already see this wick on this 6 hour kind of tested it briefly, but didn't even really get close to breaking it. So are we going to see continuation in the hours ahead to test that 35,000 to 36,000 area and then go right into this Fibonacci retracement? That will be the most exciting thing to watch for Bitcoin in the short term. I want to go over to the daily. Really cool to see how Bitcoin broke out of the symmetrical triangle, saw support just above the 50-day moving average, such a key area we talk about so often for support for Bitcoin. We got our pullback off of that area, and the pullback is happening now in the daily chart. And it's going to be really cool to see how this daily chart pans out. I mean, really in the next few days. This is going to give us a really good idea of what is in store for Bitcoin. Something I wanted to discuss with you on this chart for Bitcoin is the weekly. So going over to the weekly, this is interesting to me, and this is the one thing I'm looking out for. And it kind of begs the question, is Bitcoin going to do something so bullish because of the supply-demand shock, and something it really hasn't done? I think a lot of us, at least myself, I'm very much anticipating potential consolidation into this 20-week moving average, similar to what happened all throughout the last bull market, that green line, the 20-week moving average. And there's a case that Bitcoin just doesn't do that. We're getting these quick dips. They do seem to be bought up pretty quickly. And one thing that's happening on this weekly chart, and I want to point out to you, is we have our long-term Fibonacci bull market doors here, but we have this 1618 line that Bitcoin on the weekly chart is still trading above. And let me kind of zoom out here so you can see this. This screen is so small on my laptop. But look at Bitcoin testing the 1618 line on this weekly chart. Now, the reason that's interesting to me is because if you look at this move for Bitcoin breaking through the bull market doors, through the 1618 consolidation, and then we actually go back and we look at the last time in the Bitcoin cycle, Bitcoin interacted with this area. Bitcoin broke the bull market doors. It actually tested and consolidated at the bull market doors. Bitcoin didn't really do that this time around. Broke through and then consolidated back down to the 1618 before continuation. So Bitcoin did all that way quicker, and right now is consolidating at this 1618 line. But because it did it so much quicker, that 1618 line is so overextended from the 20-week moving average, still all the way down here in like the $19,000 range. And so the question that I'm really, on the macro level, I'm really just curious about, I can't tell you what's going to happen, everybody, but I'm tracking this data, is if Bitcoin actually sees support here at the 1618 line, as it did last time, because that's a really key line to see support. And if it does see support, is it going to kind of trickle sideways? And will the 20-week moving average actually catch up and Bitcoin finally just trickle sideways for maybe a couple weeks and explodes to the upside? That would be very harmonious with the last time, the last Bitcoin cycle, how it interacted with the 1618. So that's just on the macro level, something I'm tracking. And we're going to continue to reference that 1618 line because I'm very, very interested to see if we get a very similar move to this consolidation. And remember, this is a weekly chart. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This was like a month and a half of consolidation right here into that 20-week moving average. Very confluent with that 1618 line right there. So what is Bitcoin going to do now that it's testing the 1618 line? Right now at this very moment, $30,000 is that 1618 line. So that's what I'm watching on the macro. On the micro, on the hours ahead, you know what I'm watching. This is a 6-hour chart. Bitcoin just below the trend line, potentially putting in an extremely bullish move. But I will just say this, just a word of caution, everybody. Nothing really too bullish has happened. This is just a bounce. This is a very short-term, bounce. It's a lower high. It's nothing crazy. In my opinion, this lower trend line hasn't even been broken yet. And so we know our target is in $24,000 area. So if Bitcoin's going to see more downside, it's very much just in play. It's very commonplace for Bitcoin to pull back to a trend line before continuation to the target. So be careful for that. Be ready for that. Make your decisions based on two scenarios. It's the bullish and it's the bearish. And be comfortable with your decisions. I don't give advice on this channel, but that's my only advice. Be comfortable with your decisions. use some wisdom. Don't take financial advice from YouTubers. Hit that subscribe, everybody, on your way out. Hit that like. It really means a lot to me. I appreciate you. See you in the next video. God bless.